What's up, guys? It's Francium here, and today we are back in Skyrim. That's right, you guys, and no snap! It's going to be an awesome freaking day. So guys, welcome back, and happy Thursday. So if you're a bit new to what's been going on, we're doing showcases Monday through Friday of armors, weapons, followers, whatever it is, except for homes, because we're doing the homes on Saturday. So you get new mods throughout the week, and then the home showcases on Saturday. So Today we're going to be taking a look at a mod that I saw on Bethesda.net that first I was like, oh no. There's no way that this looks anything close to something that could be lore-friendly within Skyrim. Then I downloaded the mod. Granted, it's quite large, and I got to take a look at all of the armors and weapons. That changed my mind real fast. So today we're taking a look at the Legend of Mandalore. Now, before you click off, I know Star Wars and Skyrim, not necessarily the thing that can mix. I mean, there are magical lightsabers out there, let's be honest. But the Mandalorians, if there was going to be a species/race of people within an area of Skyrim, I think the Mandalorians would certainly be one of them. Because of how their armor looks, because of how they kind of separated themselves from the regular humans and everything like that. It's a very interesting kind of creed, and a very interesting, you could call it a cult. But enough kind of gushing about the Mandalorians. There will be plenty of time to do that here in this mod showcase. So, you find me in the city of Windhelm, right outside the Candlehearth Hall. Because the Candlehearth Hall is where you're going to want to come to begin this lovely kind of miniature quest. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to navigate your way to the front door of the Candlehearth Hall, and on the right-hand side of the bar, next to the very suspicious-looking man named Sam, also known as the Daedric Prince of Mischief, I think, you'll find the Adventurer's Journal. Now, the Adventurer's Journal has pretty much everything in here that you need to get started, and in order to find the first covert of the Mandalorians of Skyrim. So, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that you guys can read each and every single one of these pages, because they're filled with lore, and it's so cool, because the mod author has not only ported in Mandalorian armor, but they've also Skyrimified the Mandalorian lore, and it's such a cool thing to see from a Star Wars fan, from a Star Wars fan's perspective. It's very, very cool. And then obviously, the man who was searching for the covert must have met his end, and you'll see why here very soon. So that talks a bit about where exactly we're going to go. You want to find Gloombound Mine. So Gloombound Mine is located here towards Windhelm, right here, right outside Narzulbur. So the Mandalorian covert is located right there, right outside of the Windhelm. Now, the mod description does say that there is more than one covert, so we might try and take a look to see if we can find any other ones. But for now, we're going to go ahead and fast travel to this first Mandalorian covert and take a look at what's inside. So here we are up in the mountains where the Mandalorian covert is at, and there are some pretty hefty guardians right here to go ahead and take out. 3 snowy saber cats. So from the beginning of the game, it's going to be very difficult for you to get over here. At least, unless you can kind of sneak past them, that's probably going to be your best bet. But when it comes to trying to get past those, yeah, you're better off trying to kill them and or being in God mode, like I was right there. So the Mandalorian covert is supposed to be a bit difficult to reach, so it's going to take some good old Skyrim physics abusing to get up this lovely staircase. So you just kind of have to spam jump across the wall, and there you go. You can find your way up pretty easily, and then any Star Wars fan will be able to tell that you're clearly near something known to the Mandalorians once you see that symbol. So we can go ahead and come on up the stairs, and we'll find an ancient Mandalorian spear. Now, one of the coolest things about this mod is it does incorporate the use of Beskar. And if we've all seen The Mandalorian, but if you have not, Beskar is a type of metal. It's a metallic alloy that is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, materials in the Star Wars universe. And it can actually fight hand-to-hand with lightsabers. Lightsabers cannot cut through Beskar, and it's pretty durable stuff. It can actually deflect blaster bolts and stuff like that, which we'll get into here very soon. So we'll just pick that up as a souvenir, but we have to assume that this was the adventurer whose journal we found in Windhelm. This is most likely him, so we're going to go and rob his corpse, but into the Mandalorian covert we go. So when you first arrive inside of the Mandalorian covert, you'll find a very familiar scene. One based around it being just a dark and dismal cavern, which we're pretty used to here in Skyrim, and then a lovely bloodied skull and bones up there. Now, it's best to be careful as you walk through here, because there are lots of relics in the form of ancient dead Mandalorians. Kind of sad to see a bunch of dead Mandalorians in here, but tell me this doesn't look like something you would see in Skyrim. I will say, the armor is very heavily based off of, if not is just a reskinned version of the ancient Nord armor. So it really does fit in Skyrim. Just don't look at the helmet too much, okay? Don't look at the helmet too much, because obviously the helmet, it does look a bit futuristic. But take away the little eyepiece that can come down, and I'd say that's you know, fit for somewhere here in Skyrim. But here we find, no, this does not work. Here we find a set of Mandalorian armor, but it is an ancient Mandalorian armor, which means it needs to be reforged into its original Beskar steel kind of glory. Now we've got an ancient Mandalorian heavy crossbow, Mandalorian bolts, spiral bolts, everything like that. The armor is pretty great, and a lot of it can be enchanted. However, we're not going to want to wear or use the old and ancient Mandalorian armor. No, instead, what we'll want to do is we will want to find the book that lies inside of here. Now, you might be wondering, who is that person laying right there? Well, fans of the Mandalorian show will definitely know who it is. So as we walk through here, we find ourselves in kind of a crafting area, and we can find some paralyzing saber darts, as well as, what's this? A Beskar ingot! So yes, there are indeed actual Beskar ingots within this mod, which is just the coolest dang thing ever, and you are going to need Beskar ingots to reforge the armor into its original glory. Now here we see an ancient Mandalorian that literally just has the ancient Nord helmet on it. But I think it's kind of a cool inspiration. It kind of shows where we could definitely see the Mandalorian helmets actually being a part of Skyrim. So we have an ancient Mandalorian shield, ancient Mandalorian stuff right there, another ancient Mandalorian helmet. This one's fit with a skull, what do you know? A couple soul gems around here. And here we have another helmet right there. We have a smaller chest right here with a war stave, blacksmith tongs, a poison saber dart, as well as Mandalorian plate boots. Now you can see that they are indeed enchanted, and these are most likely the most refined version of the armor that you can get to. But we'll take a look at that here very, very soon. So you can see we've got ancient Mandalorian Beskar and blacksmith tongs, all of this stuff. And all of this stuff does work. If we go ahead and take a look at the paralyzing darts, they're actually scrolls, and you can shoot them just like that. It's pretty silly, honestly, but it's still kind of cool, and it pops up like a little what would you call that? Like a little needle. It's kind of funny, honestly. But let's go ahead and take a look over here. We've got a very large chest right here, and inside of it is a bunch of Mandalorian weapons. An enchanted vibroblade. This weapon vibrates at a high frequency, allowing it to cut through armor. Mandalorian war stave, war clubs, blacksmith tongs, vambraces, and the Mandalorian vambraces have a special thing behind them. A Mandalorian helmet without the eyepiece. More paralyzing saber darts and more poison saber darts, which is really cool. But oh, what's this over here? Could it be the Mandalore? So inside of here we have the Clans of Mandalore book, the Legend of the Darksaber, and then the Forge key, as well as the Mandalorian disintegrator. So a bolt of energy that does 80 points of shock damage to health and half that to magicka. If you've ever wanted to disintegrate anybody, now's your chance. The ancient Mandalorian Mythosaur helmet, which is very, very cool. More ancient Mandalorian armor. But then above this is the ancient Mandalorian tower shield, as well as the Mythosaur axes, which is just a really cool feature, honestly. Having something in there that's inspired by the Mythosaur is really, really cool. But once you find the key on the Mandalore, you'll want to come around to here, and you'll want to find this woman laying right here. Now, how does one know that she is a woman? Well, the Mandalorian show is all you need to know about that. This is the Armorer, and she's even got the same helmet, kind of the same helmet, as she would normally have within the show. So the Armorer's hammer is a weapon, not a tool. Some more Beskar ingots, but then this is what you're going to want to have. Read it first. You can go ahead and take a look at that if you would like to see. That way you can see exactly everything that's about the Beskar steel and everything like that. And there you go. This is the way. So go ahead and grab that book, and there you go. Grab some whistling birds. And then just because it's such an iconic armor, look at that. That's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. We're going to go ahead and take that off of her. So inside of here, you'll find a lot of Quicksilver ore, as well as the scattered remains of yet even more ancient Mandalorians. Tons and tons and tons of Beskar that would make any Mando just absolutely cream their pants. So what exactly can we do with all of this stuff now that we've actually gotten the Beskar steel and the knowledge to make Beskar armor? Also, this helmet looks like Saint 14's helmet from Destiny. In fact, I think it might be. But even still, what do we do now? Well, that's where the Skyforge comes into play. In order to reforge and recraft the Mandalorian armor to be its Beskar steel version, we're going to need to take a bunch of Beskar, and we're going to need to loot the corpses of all of these bad boys around here. So, I will meet you in Whiterun, where we'll go ahead and reforge a lot of this into its very amazing looking armors. Alright, so here we are next to the Skyforge in Whiterun, and I went ahead and derobed because I need to have just the wind flowing in order to create this armor. So if we go ahead and come on in to the Skyforge, scroll on down to the steel section, we can then scroll through the absolutely incredible amount of differing pieces you can actually have within this mod. That's a reason that it's 911 freaking megabytes to install this entire mod. It is gargantuan with the amount of things that you can actually have in here. And then we're actually down here, and we get to the Darksaber and all the white Mandalorian stuff, the yellow Mandalorian stuff, and so on and so forth. So, what exactly does all of this stuff mean? Well, in order to create the differing colors, as well as, the differing types of weapons and everything like that, you do indeed need to create the reforged version of the armor itself. So, for instance, this requires Mandalorian armor, Jazz Bay grapes, and a silver ingot. What that means is you need the Mandalorian armor, either the ancient armor or the reforged version of the Mandalorian armor, which would be this. Right here. This is the default Mandalorian armor. Now this requires 4 leather strips, ancient Mandalorian armor, as well as 3 Beskar ingots, 2 leather, and 1 linen wrap. Now you can create this, and when you have one of those, you will then be able to use that to create the differing types of factions. So we've got the heavy infantry, there's the green ones, there's yellow ones, there's red ones, there's Death Watch, there's all sorts of the different factions, but we're going to stick with one because that way it's a bit easier to take a look at and you can kind of see for yourself. But this is everything that the mod comes with as far as the items that you can find within the steel smithing spot within the actual Skyforge. Now, if you noticed, down in the bottom of the list, there was the Darksaber. And the Darksaber is absolutely something that I want to do. Now, in order to get the Darksaber, you do indeed need to find the Darksaber. Now, what I imagine that means is in one of the other coverts, there's probably a Darksaber sitting somewhere, and we need to go and find it. So that's exactly what we're going to go do. Well, that did not take long to go ahead and find it. So, the place you're going to want to come to find the Darksaber is actually right around the corner from Angarvund and Heartwood Mill. You're going to want to find it right up here, the Mandalorian Covert. It's right outside of Riften. And inside of this place is a tomb to none other than Tar Vizsla. Now that is so cool! That's so cool! And you can actually have his armor, which is... I mean, that's so cool. How much cooler can you get? Now, granted, that just looks like the regular Blades helmet, but still, that looks so cool. And then we have the Darksaber, an ancient blade forged by Tar Vizsla. This black sword is the symbol of Mandalorian rule and crackles with a deadly magic. Just take it all, give it to me. Sorry, Tar. Sorry about your bad luck. Now, let's make sure I'm not actually in God mode. And let's take a look at what this weapon actually looks like in my inventory. Oh, it's beautiful. I have the Darksaber, and I'm wearing the entire wrong armor because I'm kind of embodying a bit of Darth Maul here. But you know what? That's fine. He was certainly a person in the Mandalorian's history. So yes, this is where you're going to want to come to find the Darksaber. There are 2 dead ancient Mandalorians out here with the blue Mandalorian armor, which just looks really, really cool, and it's the Mandalorian plate. But there was one other thing that I wanted to go ahead and show you. Whenever you equip something that's known as the Mandalorian Vambraces, no matter if they're, crimson, if they're green, they're blue, whatever, you actually have access to the Mandalorian Energy Shield, which is pretty accurate. In fact, yep, that's looking pretty accurate. And then you also have access to the Mandalorian Vambrace Flamethrower, which is literally just the flames enchant, which it's just so cool. The fact that the mod author has done such a great job on just bringing everything from the Star Wars universe into Skyrim, because it's pretty much already there. Having flames shoot out of your hand? Sure, granted it comes out of the vambrace technically in Star Wars, but still, having an energy shield? That's completely fine with its Skyrim, because there's freaking magic, man! But still, that's so cool. So I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, I'm going to reforge the Darksaber, make sure it looks all good, and then I will meet you and we'll take a look at the Darksaber. So, to end off today's showcase, I wanted to go ahead and just take a bit of a pause and talk about two armors that are within this mod that just look awesome. One was the one that I was wearing, which is the Crimson one, and then the Tar Vizsla outfit. Now, the Tar Vizsla outfit you can just see as it just being a reskinned version of the Blades slash Dawnguard helmet, which is kind of cool. But honestly, I think one of the biggest things about this mod that really, really lends it to being an amazing mod and worth a spot in your load order is just the amount of work that the mod author has put into not only creating these armors and painting them and modeling them and everything like that, but also giving it a backstory. They literally took the backstory of the Mandalorians and how they were in the Star Wars universe and Skyrimified it. It's the coolest thing ever, and honestly, I would play with this mod all the damn time in my load order. Now, would it have been cooler if the Darksaber was actually, you know, the Darksaber where you had the hilt and then you open it up and you hear the iconic sound of it come out? I mean, yeah, that would be really, really cool, but there's only so much that can actually happen. But there's so much in this mod. Give the mod description a look. There's so many weapons to take a look at in this mod. We didn't even scratch the surface of all of the weapons that you could have looked at. But definitely take a look at this mod. See if you would want to download it and just have fun with it, because it's Star Wars in Skyrim, but in a way that isn't over the top, in my opinion. This all looks like stuff that you would probably be able to find somewhere in Skyrim off of a specific outlaw, or off of a specific, what's the word I'm looking for? Bandit or anything like that. You know, some of the weapons, they are indeed a bit much, but hey, it's still really cool. So, let me know what you guys thought about this down there in the comment section. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's unimmersive? Do you think it's actually way more immersive than it looks like? What are you guys thinking down there in the comment section? I would love to hear from the Star Wars fans and from the non-Star Wars fans. You know, would you look at this and say, yeah, I would download that and use that as an armor mod? Or, no, I would not download that and use that as an armor mod. There's too many weird things. But let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comment section. Hopefully this mod showcase was, okay and good enough for you guys to make a decision on whether or not you would want to download this. But until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next showcase.